So we've been walking around for a little while. We were waiting for all the kids and families to leave because it's quite echoey here. You can probably hear that. And yeah, we're gonna go in an orderly fashion. There are a couple of anti-tank and artillery weapons here. I'm gonna read through the gun barrel size and some interesting facts, and then in the background I'll quickly name a few of the tanks we have in here so you can kind of know what you're expecting. We have an IS-2 that we have seen before. This one's obviously in much better condition. I'm pretty sure most of these are still operational in terms of driving. Then we have a BTR 60-something infantry carrier. We have an absolutely humongous ISU-152 artillery tank destroyer-y thing. Then we have a good old T-34-85 that we have actually in Enlisted game as well. The next one up there I believe is another people carrier, and then we have another premium tank from Enlisted, which is the SU-100. Absolutely beautiful and massive thing as well. And I think the last one up there is just like a German KF something people carrier with another BTR at the far end. So we're gonna go over some of these guns first, tanks in the background you'll see, and then we're gonna have a little walk around more. So this one here is actually in the game as well. So this is the 45mm, I think is it 45mm? Maybe, I think it's a 45mm anti-tank cannon. This one's the German one. I could try and break my tongue to try and pronounce the name, but I'm not going to. So the next one up here, we have an 85mm division gun. Release date 1944. This is pretty much a T-34 barrel on wheels. You can pretty much see it's massive. It has a really nice muzzle brake on the top. Yeah, pretty cool little thing here. Okay, so the next one up here, what does this look like? This one's a 57mm, again German, 57mm anti-tank cannon, again on the wheels. I'm not entirely sure which one of these models we have in the game, but I'm pretty sure we have a couple of those. And now standing next to one of these, it's funny to see how in the game one crew member can literally just push it around. This thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. So the next thing right here, I have no idea what that next thing is. It has a thick and stumpy barrel. Okay, so this is a 122mm howitzer from 1939 to about 1955. Nice, imagine a 122mm HE shell. Yeah, that thing is pretty cool. Big as well, massive as well. Tires are quite big. So this next thing up here, you can tell me what it is because I have no idea. I don't think it has any signs as well on it. No, I don't think there's any signs. There's more people coming, unfortunately. So this thing right here is a, where's English? SU-45 Catamarascu something, some kind of German tracked bicycle bike thing. Looks pretty old, to be honest. Right. So the next piece here is a BTR-40. Again, generally infantry carrying vehicle. I don't actually see any guns on this thing. Yeah, I would say this is purely to carry infantry around. The next one here, however, does have a cannon on top, which again looks something like, actually not too big, something like 7.92 or something. A lot of room on this thing, big wheels. I'm gonna get you the name of it as well. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm not gonna get you a name. I have no idea where the paper is. Yeah, well, it doesn't say what it is, but by the looks of it, I would say it's some sort of BTR. You can see the radiator cooler in there, but that's nothing too much fun. There is another German half-track. This is like a classical look for a German half-track. Carrying infantry. There is a slot on top for a machine gun, which I would imagine probably be something like MG42, MG43. But that's pretty much it. It has leather seats in it, and you just drive around it. So now we're gonna get into the good stuff. So we're gonna try and walk around every single vehicle, just to kind of take you around the tour. So this thing here, this thing is big, but wait till we get to 152. SU-100 in Enlisted game, a premium unfortunately. God knows when we're gonna play. 5,000 gold, that's quite expensive to buy a virtual tank that you don't actually get at the end of the day. It just speaks for itself. A traditional case style sloped armor. It doesn't really have too much of a gun traverse because you use this for like a long range tank destroying stuff. And this one here with a 100mm barrel, which is actually very long, probably uses a good HE shell as well. So we're gonna just have a quick walk around. We have some track armor up here. If you look closely, you can actually see how thick is the armor. So this is pretty much the thickness of the armor, which you can see it's not actually too much compared to my hand. But then again, it's nicely sloped, just as this one is here as well. It's approximately the same thickness. There's the doomed hatch. If you have ever played, usually on T-34s, if you ever played War Thunder, then you can never pen these for some reason. The mantle and the breech area is absolutely massive. Looks really cool. We got some, I guess, tow cables, some lights, the tracks. You can see on the tracks, actually, this thing has been driven not that long ago. Some toolboxes, all the suspension. This thing doesn't actually have too much of like exposed suspension. I think the ISU-152 has it exposed slightly more. But moving towards the rear, just a typical case style design. And let's see what's in the back. Yeah, you can see all the parts from the gearbox to actually spin around these and move these absolutely massive and heavy chains. And judging by the exhaust here, you can see that this thing has definitely been driving, because it's nice and dirty here. So. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to it. Massive engine deck, and then the cupola with the hatch is really, really, really big. So let's move on to the next thing up here. Again, some sort of IFV carrier. I'm gonna let you know what exactly it is. I don't see any guns on this. I don't think it has any guns on this one here. So this is BRDM-1. So it says that this is armored reconnaissance and patrol vehicle, and you get 2 + 3 crew. So I would say 2 in the front, probably driver, whatever, and 3 in the back. It looks like you can fit in more than 5 people in here, but oh well. So something we all know and recognize very well, a T-34-85 with the ZIS-S cannon, I believe it is. Yeah, 85 ZIS-S 53 cannon. You can see the plate thickness in the welding spot here, at least, is pretty big. We can check it out from the side. Well, this is the doomed hatch. Never shoot this part. Never, absolutely never. Yeah, the armor is actually not very thick, as you can see here. Like, it is really, really not very thick, but because it's angled nicely, it does its job. It has this typical bubbly type turret with its cheeks, and rather long 85 long gun that does wonders. Suspension wise, this is probably very similar suspension wise to the SU-100. You can see there's not much of a difference. Again, some lights and cables, some toolboxes. There's the hatch on the top that you would get in. We can walk around to the back side as well. And just the same as the SU-100, looks like this has been actually cleaned, but I would say this was probably driven not too long ago. You can see that on the tracks as well. Yeah, pretty cool looking thing. We're gonna try and make our way back to the front, because this thing next to us, I was absolutely astonished to see this thing here. I don't think I knew it was gonna be here. The ISU-152, and if I thought I've seen a big tank in life, which is an IS-2, then I had no idea. Like, I can't imagine how big was the mouse, because this is gigantic. Let's go. So 46 tons of goodness, 5 crew ISU-152. They call it here as a self-propelled artillery gun. Obviously, in War Thunder at least, it fires a massive HE shell, which you can argue is probably more for artillery as an infantry killing tool. However, this can effectively take out literally anything. And the breech and the mantlet area, I cannot describe how big and thick and massive this thing is. And not even talking to the barrel, you can see how short and stumpy it is. So the velocity on these shells are pretty poor, but that's why you're sitting far back and just lobbing them. Seems like armor is very thick. The lower plate is rather thick as well, with some track armor down here. And the hatch is open up there, but unfortunately we are not allowed to get in these. That's a big shame. And this one actually has some more visible suspension parts here, I believe. Yeah, you'll be able to see some suspension parts here. You can see down here how it's all nicely put together, and the absolute massive tracks. So yeah, it looks like there's some sort of hatch here for maintenance or something. Never shoots sprockets. You'll just get non-penetration. And interesting up here for the front plates, the nicely angled front plates here. You can see the weldings are quite rough bits of the armor. But yeah, like you can see how big is this thing. Like, this is insane. This is just crazy big. Absolutely huge. So the next thing that we have here is the BTR-60 PB. Looks like some sort of a 20 mil, or I don't know what it is, but it looks like a 20 mil, not much more than that. Again, infantry carrying vehicle, and this has 2 in the front for the driving end. You can carry up to 14 in the back. That's what it at least says here. Yeah, just another infantry vehicle on the wheels. And the last but not least, we're gonna move on to IS-2, which we have extensively shown on this channel already. We're not gonna be able to get into this one because I believe this one's probably in much better state than the one we showed before. But it's nice to see one in actually good condition. You can see all the nice tracks, and again all the exposed suspension components, the nice traditional bubbly turret, and the absolute ginormous 122 millimeter cannon barrel. It just blows my mind how big these things are. And we're gonna try and walk around a little bit here. You get again some toolboxes, and you can see there's even a shovel here. Massive wheels, massive sprockets, everything's so big on these things. And the back here, you get these things that you can probably pull along some, I don't know, supplies, ammo, flat guns or things like that. And you can see the massive commander's cupola, so it has like a 360-degree slot so you can look around. And the main hatch, yeah, just yet another massive thing. But I want to go back to the 152. That thing is beauty. So this is the BTR, the thing that can carry a lot of people. If you switch to the regular camera, I think it's going to see better. You can see there's actually a lot of space here. There's a room for the gunner up there to operate the cannon, and actually has a coaxial machine gun as well. That looks like 7.62, something like that. Not too much space in the front, but there's some dash actually with some dials and an actual steering wheel, because this thing has wheels. And how do you fit 14 people on these 2 benches? I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it says that you can do. All right, so maybe there's like 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, okay. So there's actually more seats than I can ever think of. Cool. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to my amazing friend for taking me here. I had no idea. She keeps on taking me to these places, which is really cool because she knows what I like. And I think our country is small enough that these are probably like all of the tanks we can find here, right?
I hope not.
You hope not. We're gonna keep on looking. I know one place when there's a T-34. You remember that outside museum?
Yeah.
We found by accident, yeah. And then, I don't know, what's the next step? We can go to England, to Tank Fest maybe, in summer or something. I have some friends that live in UK. We'll see how that goes, but thank you so much for joining. It's been yet another museum of tanks, and I really like this kind of open
atmosphere here, that like there's no one here. Obviously, we're still not allowed to get into them or like climb on top. Not that I think. But like you can just walk around and like look wherever you want, and there's not like a guide telling you things, which is I guess good for me because like generally I know a lot of things about these vehicles, but maybe someone that really wants to know could actually use a guide. I totally forgot, but there are some like flak weird guns on the outside, but they don't really look that cool. They look like some sort of 40mm anti-aircraft guns, but they're rather big and weird looking on the wheels. But that's where we're gonna cut the video. We're gonna be out for the chase of new tanks maybe sometime, other time. But till then, we'll probably see each other on a battlefield, the virtual one, hopefully. Let's keep it that way. Bye-bye.